And yes, we are live. We are live with Mary Odeleye. Did I pronounce it well?
Yeah, Odeleye. Yeah.
Odeleye. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And it is so amazing to have Mary in the house. Mary is streaming live all the way from Ibadan, Nigeria. By the way, it is Nigerians Independence Day. And yes, happy Independence Day to all of you who is
Yeah.
watching me and can see me. It's been a great Nigerian time. Congratulations to all of us. I'm sure some people are looking at me and wondering, what did she just say? But hey, it is. We are Nigerians and we are going to celebrate with Nigerians. Thank you again for being here. It's been so amazing. If you can see me, you can hear me in the comment section. Please let me see your comment in the comment section saying, yes, I can see you, I can hear you, and let me see that where you are. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. And we have in the building Mary Odeleye. She's going to be sharing on my intentional parenting journey. You know, as usual, I haven't heard Mary's story. I tried to ask Mary where she was streaming live from just now and what she does. Mary is a food technologist and she's a caterer and also does learning resources. She has a book store, and I think Mary has her hands in some stuff. And I'm sure that by the time we leave here, she is going to show us what it is really to actually be a yada and what that has done in her life. I would love to hear this story and I can't wait. Mary, start with the conversation. Please, how did you even get to know about TIP Academy? For those who are just joining us, TIP Academy means the Intentional Parent Academy. It's not international. For those of you who call it international, I always feel like strangling you when you say it. Intentional, please. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mary, please.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, all Yadas. Good morning. Shout out to my cohort 1F members. Shout out to all Ibadan Yadas. It's an honor to be here, Coach. I'm so honored and humbled. It's a privilege that I do not take for granted. Thank you so much, Mom. Yes, so getting into the conversation, sometimes in 2022, I just opened my phone one day and I saw a link and it said, can you please go through this link? There is a class I have registered you for. And when I opened it, it was from yelling to calm. Ah, which one is yelling to calm? Coach, my brother from the United States of America saw it on somebody's status in Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria,
Hmm.
and registered for it and sent it to me. And I was wondering, why yelling to come? What did this person see? Apparently, the person was seeing what I couldn't see. And this is actually big for me because um, I've been a single parent for almost 10 years. And this is
Hmm.
the first time I'm able to come out to tell my story
Oh,
alongside my parenting journey. Yes,
wow.
a lot of close people to me that I have invited on this stream will be hearing this majorly for the first time.
Wow.
Yes, so, and later it begins to resonate to me because, that was 2022. It was still in the middle of when I couldn't say I was fine, I was not fine, I was settled. Somebody was saying beyond what I could see. I didn't know I was yelling, but somebody must have observed that I was yelling, and the best way to help me was to, put me through that course. And the course was already on day one. And see me, I was chatting. Coach still used to have time, small those times. I was chatting, coach. It's already first time. How can I? Okay, will I still gain? Okay, will I still, I was doing some silly negotiations that I didn't realize then. Okay, coach was so gracious. She said, okay, if you feel you'll not be able to meet up, then okay, you could use the ticket for another paid course another time, blah, 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 blah. Me that I was supposed to run it. So I actually missed that opportunity, but it was also for good because every course in TIP is is an opportunity. Let me just put it that way. Every course in the TIP. So that was basically how I came in, and I eventually used that ticket for sex educate, like a pro or something. Yeah, if I can remember well, it was one of those courses I did, and that time since that time, I had been running. I had learned to put my well, I didn't have to shy away from it, but I knew that there was something bigger than whatever I was dealing with that was at stake and could even turn out to be something that will add to my problems in the future, which I needed to deal with. So I got on my toes ever since then.
Amazing. There was something that Mary said that actually got me smiling when she said, "Oh, those days that coach used to actually have time. I still have time. Please don't mind that. What am I doing with my daylight? I have time, please. Yes." And that was actually, I think that was, but I think that was about the second time we were launching from yelling to come course. And as she was talking, and I think that I remember, a bit of that conversation. But if you agree with me, this is going to be an interesting conversation because Mary said that she's going to be sharing her journey for the first time where people don't really know what her journey is about. I am interested in listening to this journey. So I'm not going to waste time so that we can continue to listen to this journey and actually see exactly what it is that Mary has to share for us. Mary, over to you. Please, let's start with your journey so that we can actually have a very long, way and conversation, to this. Over to you.
Okay, coach. Thank you, ma. Yes, so it happened that after that 2022, I had two children, and my eldest, the boy was about 6, 7, and he was on the spectrum side. I still had that in my plate. I had to deal with a kind of autism. I had so much I had to deal with. I was also a postgraduate student in Ogbomoso Lautech at the time.
Yay! That's our school.
So, I had so many things going on. But I have just been someone that has been favored by God, you know. The choice of my school, I mean, for the school of my children, even when I had not gotten into TIP, God helped me. I remember vividly one of those days when I put the boy in the school. Actually, God directed me to a school. When I got there, there were other schools. I saw one fine school. I went there. I wasted like 1 year there before I now redirected. So when I got to this school, my son wasn't speaking, but I had a crop of workers, teachers that were, now I can state they were actually called to do that job and they were intentional, including the MD of the school. I remember at the time, the MD would tell me, okay, leave this boy after school, let him have some time to play with the boys on the basketball court and all that. So when they close by 3 or 2:30, I allow him to like fall. Sometimes I go there and wait and sneak on him. He keeps running, and for many months, for many terms, my son's hand will never touch the ball, but he would just keep running after them. And one day I wasn't there. The MD just called me and she said, "Ma, start coming, start coming. What happened?" She said, somehow the boy had tried and tried and tried, and out of frustration, the first speech came, "Give me the ball." And everybody, the woman heard it in her office. Everybody came out and, "What was that?" And they were like, "Oh, he spoke, and they asked him again. He was so anxious. I think it was a deposit of aggression over time. So that was the beginning of my victories in that regard. But I couldn't really narrow it down until I came into TIP. Now, when I came into TIP, God blessed me. I had a friend, a sister that we came together, so we had been doing things together, you know. And at a point, we were like, what's next? And this boy was just, in school.
Hello, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. So sorry about that. So,
Okay.
it was just there, and we were like, what's next? I told her to come in, which we should register. So we registered. We came in 2023 December, and we have been in since then. And I just there was one webinar coach took, I think around March of 2023. It was about, coach talked extensively about swimming. When I heard swimming, I intentionally did not go near that webinar. I intentionally did not go near it. So my friend called. You didn't listen to the webinar. I said, I heard a bit. Coach was talking about. She said, and she's very spontaneous. I am spontaneous. So I think that's why we're able to work together. So she was like, go and listen. I think she had to come over to make sure that I listened to that webinar. Coach, that same day, I put up a status on my phone. Who knows anywhere where they can be trained to swim? By the next week, we were in the swimming pool. Saturday morning by 6:30, we were in the swimming pool. And it was a whole new level of breakthroughs in the regard of autism. Autism usually comes with tantrums. They cannot express themselves verbally, so they do it through expressions, a lot of times aggressions, a lot of time crying. So this boy was full of energy. When we got into the water, coach, water can take energy. Like the way water absorbed, the way this guy was not scared of a 9 feet pool. The way he was, the way he was disrespecting the water, he just had so much energy to do it, and gradually it began to be stable. It began to be stable. That was a therapy that ordinarily I was running away from. I wouldn't have even identified, So we began to walk that journey. Then, the journey of the inner circle continued. And along the line, at a point, I think it was 7, I got to know about Coach Ebuka, and it was camp. I was in Ibadan, and I was like, this guy has to go to camp. Apparently, I've always been having housemates, and at that time, it was not just working, and I was just with them for the first time, maybe a couple of months alone. I did not realize that my son couldn't even do anything. In fact, if you ask him, bring your brush, he's used to calling the name of the person that used to help him. So I was trying to put things in order. So when it was time for camp, I said, oh yeah, we are going. So from Ibadan, we packed our load. We went to Lagos. And I was the first year that from Ibadan to go to camp in Lagos. And we did camp, we packed our stuff. It was a nice, I took him there, I came back. So on the day of coming back, my son came back, and coach, like, he came back with like 25% of his things. Everything gone. So I called Coach Ebuka. Coach Ebuka, what happened? Kiniko, Coach Ebuka was just like, say, in Abi, how do you say? You paid for scan. It's CT scan you came to do. So the result of your scan, is what we have sent back to you. We will advise that you critically analyze it, put it in perspective, draw a structure, and begin to prepare for the next year. Out of 4 shoes, 3 shoes gone. Out of almost everything was gone. The box was almost empty. I said, oh, okay, since it's calm. I just took it with all humility. And then I started calling here and there. They helped me. But what now happened was after I finished that, after I was trying to put things in place, in their school locally, they just announced there was going to be a camping experience for a couple of days, which was just like 6 or 7 months after then. Then I said, no, this is my chance. Then I started. In fact, the grace was not extended to their class. I had to go and plead. Okay, this boy is advanced in age. He can deal with this. He's been to camp before. Me, I knew what I wanted to test run. So I told them to allow him. And coach, in 6 months, this boy went to camp and he was there for 3 or 4 days and nothing was lost. Nothing at all was missing. We came back with everything. So, these things we learn here, it's just that it's very difficult to follow process. A lot of times we want magic. Like now, he went to camp and I was expecting probably Coach Ebuka to put one guide to one child so that as their pencil drop, they will pick it for them. As their underwear drops in the bathroom, they will pick it for them. I wouldn't have, even till now, probably I wouldn't have been able to realize that was a gap that I needed to work on. We are not there yet, coach. As at last 2024, he went to Lagos. Yes, so I got there. My son was the only one. I was looking for him. He was not dressed. I said, okay, I parent the child I have. Oh yeah, go and get your uniform. Coach, we finished dressing when the parade was over. I said, okay, it's okay. You shall finish dressing. Go to coach, go and take picture. At least you are here. I knew it's my process because it's evolving gradually, and at some point neurologically, there are some things you cannot force to happen. But it could have been, people may not really understand why, but I was just calm, He came, he wore the wrong shoe. I said, go again. He came, I said, go again. You are not just take your time. Even if it's 3, when everybody is gone, we are still on this camp. You will dress up, you will finish. And that's how I've been able to. And for me, I don't know if I can go on.
Please go on. You have the floor.
Okay. And for me, I would say personally, I met myself when I got into the TIP. I met myself. There's no way I will start talking about these things, coach, and I wouldn't have answered some questions you'll be asking later. Yeah, so I met myself when I got into this yard, when I read the book, Why You Act the Way You Do. And I was already 36, 35, 36, thereabout at that time. And I would say, honestly, I just met myself. That book opened me up and opened my eyes to see some fundamental things I would have wished I had known many years ago, probably in my 20s. I wished I would have known. Probably no regrets at all. It's a process. It's my process, and I own it, and I'm evolving. And I began to listen to coach, and sometimes initially everything was going to be like a trigger because from my personal life, I thought I was healed. I thought I had moved on, but I didn't realize that I still had the load. A lot. Upbringing, a lot. 1, marriage, a lot. 2, normal life, a lot. 3, all these things, children, everything adding up together. So sometimes initially, coach will say some things, and it will be so triggering. But along the line, when I opened up to when I was calm and I opened up to reason, the Holy Spirit began to expand these things in my mind, and I began to say that, you need to buckle up. He said, if 10,000 lions is chasing everybody, my own is 100,000, because there was and there is still a lot to do. Now, talking about my personal life development, After I met myself in TIP, I realized my most common word in TIP. I love it. Me and my friend, in fact, that's what we call ourselves. When we see anything that looks like it outside, we say like, and it is what? Girl with sense. Girl with sense. When we say it, people don't know where we are coming from. And at some times we tell ourselves, when we see something, we say, ah, it's good to have sense, Haley. Anyway, we are becoming, this girl with sense thing in 2023, when coach taught those courses and raising a boy, you do not need to bail out. Those were, in fact, we were literally running. We ran to the point that even in the children's school, we ran to the point we could run to. But we tried our best here and there to effect one or two things. And personally, we are evolving. We are evolving. Let me leave it there, Coach.
Amazing, amazing. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Mary Odeleye, and Mary is sharing her journey. Mary said that she's sharing for the first time most of the things that she has seen. Was when Mary said that a lot of the things that were said in the past. Mary, this is your fourth year in the yard, right? Am I correct?
No, third.
Your third year. All right. So Mary said most of the things that were said in the past was triggering. If you're coming from a lot, sometimes I feel it's a webinar. Somebody will rant from the beginning of the morning till evening. And when they are ranting, somebody said to me, Coach, you finished honors the school. I ranted. I did. I said somebody that you didn't even say anything. You were not fluttered. I said, I've been there, done that. Do you know how many people rant to me in a day? So please, it's not a problem. He said, you were not upset. I said, why? I know I know that some of us are coming from a lot.
Yeah.
Some of us are coming from a lot. Some of us are coming from a lot times 10. So your lot will determine how you react to whatever you hear. I finished the webinar about resolving sibling rivalry. My brother was in that class. He called me and he said, this is my own a lot. Where do I start from? I had a good laugh. That's my brother, right? The truth of the matter is everybody gets triggered on different levels, and I'm not your problem. That's the truth. That's one thing I have known from day one. It is not me when you're looking that is your problem. So it's okay if you get angry, and it's fine. When you have done being angry, you will be all right. Along the line, you'll just be okay. And then you now become, you now have the other day I said to my staff, I said, wow, you're now a boy with a lot of sense. He said, yes, now I'm a boy with plenty sense. What is that? I have a all right. So, but really, inner circle will fight you, literally, and find you. It will feed you like Cochinda Chinda will say. Inner circle will feed you, it will fight you, it will find you. So as it's feeding you, it is finding you, it is fighting you. That's the truth. You're going to be fought. You're going to resist a lot. If you're a new yada, trust me, there will be a lot of resistance on some things that you hear. At first, you're going to be triggered. There are things I've said that people have been triggered about, highly triggered. In fact, recently, somebody has been in my DM dragging a particular thing, and I said to the person, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Just give it time. I can assure you that you'll be fine. And the person said, no, let's look at it from this perspective. You know that I have very intelligent inner circle members, medical doctors, professors, people from all walks of life. So it's fine. I even love it. And I said, Ma, when you are done, it's very okay. It's okay for you not to agree with everything. So when you are coming, come with an open heart. Trust me, you are not about to agree with everything. There are some things that we say and you leave that webinar, you're wondering, why did she even say it like this? And at the end of the day, when you actually get to the point of understanding, your song will change. Yesterday, we had Sarah say that those days when coach is talking, I'm like, are you sure? It's not possible. Hey, somebody said she heard me in a webinar when I was talking about the twins traveling on their own. And the person was like, she left. She said, she has come to Bobo's. Hey, He has come to all these coaches. But that it was when I cannot even laugh. That it was when she eventually actually saw my son in the airport alone. That she was like, is that not Coach's son? As in, that she actually flew with him. So she came back. She now told her husband, she's not lying, no. I think that woman did not lie. I think I saw her. I had a good laugh. I think it was so funny to me. I think that kind of we live in a country where there's a lot of cook-up stories, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot that happen around. So people actually think at the first instance, they want to scam me. That's the Nigerian brain, first instance, right? In fact, somebody said to me that she did not collect book that she paid for 3 years ago, that I may scam. I say, hey, God, I beg go. Me that want you to read the book. I say, ma, where do you stay? Come, let me give you all the books, please. I need you to read it. All right. So really, if you are a new yada who is coming in and you're thinking that you just come, they just give you, everything just looks all nice. I have good news for you. Be ready to be fought. The things you will meet yourself. That's what Mary said. You are going to actually be able to look into yourself. You've run away from yourself for a long time, but the Holy Spirit will reveal you to you. That's inner circle for you. The Holy Spirit will reveal you to you. And when He does, your life actually begins to be lived. And that's the interesting part of it. It doesn't matter how long you stayed in the inner circle. The boss will meet you somewhere. As in, even if you've stayed 5 years, you will see yourself on your 6th year. I know the ancient year does. On your 6th year, you are still being met with this thing because it's the Holy Spirit speaking. So you'll be ready to do the work. You're listening to Mary, all the way from Ibadan. Mary, you started a story when you started this conversation with us. And, you wanted to share your journey, about single parenting and, and all of that. How was it, your single parenting when you're doing it without inner circle and your single parenting when you're doing it now? And was it single parenting by choice? Was it, and you said something, you said you had come from a lot of marriage, a lot of childhood, a lot of present life and all of that. Will you want to actually share a bit about that with us and the audience? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, Coach. It's as for the marriage, it isn't something that was planned, but life happens, and at certain points, like we say, we even though you might have been a girl without sense, and somehow you've made wrong decisions and all that, but when you realize and you see in your own capacity and what's around, it's not looking good, and it might eventually, if you do not take a very a drastic decision at that time, things might even deteriorate. So that was the kind of decision I took that made me to be in that situation. And yes, talking about a lot in upbringing, I had a very good upbringing, I would say, a very good upbringing. My parents were parents indeed. Like we say in the inner circle, they did it exactly the way they knew it. I still say today there are virtues, there are touches from my parents that still stand us out, myself and my siblings till today, like time management, like being punctual, a lot. My parents are academicians, my mom is a professor, and we had very good education. It was good, but there is good, there is the greater good, there is, like in the webinar, raising the girl with sense. Hey, you can be a virgin and still be a foolish virgin. So it's not about, being a virgin is good, but that is not all there is to it. Something makes your virginity valuable more than, virginity cannot keep It's good. It's not, nothing is wrong. It's good. Purity. Coach preaches purity a lot, but it has to be purity with sense, purity with skills, purity with an ability to think, to be productive, to be able to take decisions even when you have to stand alone, even when your decision isn't popular. Those things, were the things that were missing. Those things were the things that were missing. And also, I've enjoyed a lot of, my family is closely knitted, in fact, so knitted that it can be intimidating to anyone. I've enjoyed very cordial relationship with my siblings, all of them. I could tell you, Coach, that yeah, siblings rivalry exists here and there, but I would say almost, very minimal. Not even rivalry. Now issues occur and we're able to resolve, and that's it. We do things in common. We're fine. So from my own end, the allotness is just on the advanced on the advanced side. And talking about single parenting, it's not anything I wish for, even my enemy. It's not a good thing. No, I don't think anybody wants to wake up and be in that position. It's not a good thing in any way. But like we say in the journey of purpose also, and like Coach Omolola says in the seasons of life, in whatever season of life you are in, there is a becoming out of that process. There's an evolution. It is only when you have not evolved or become and you just pass through it for the fun of it, that you just pass time, that is when it becomes a problem. So I have seen it that way, and I have been able to walk. When I was parenting without the intentional academy, let me just say there was no parenting. I had sympathy here and there. I had people helping me. I had, in fact, zero. There was no parenting. Yeah, I knew what I should do for my children: care for them, buy clothes, make them look good, and all that. Then they were still young. Sit down, stand up, and all that. But parenting, if parenting was taking place, you won't have to tell my son, where's your shoes, and you have to call somebody's name. So let's say parenting was not really, it didn't really take place. And I like that part because it was a vacuum in them, such that when I was ready, I started feeling with the right things. There was to some extent no negativity as such already built in them. So when I got into the inner circle, it wasn't really too late. It wasn't really, it would have been nice if it happened earlier, but it was still a clean land. It was still a clean land that was good for planting at that time. So it's, for me, raising my children has been all about TIP. It's a very uncommon thing in the vicinity where I am, with the people around me. It's even there was a day my son, I think he misplaced his socks, and my dad now called coincidentally that morning, and the guy was just mumbling around, expecting me. He knows he has other socks in the house, expecting me to bring another one. And I'm like, this is one leg, you find. Oh yeah, wait and go. When you get to school, tell your teacher you could not keep it. Maybe the teacher should be helping you to keep it, or come home and come and keep it for you. You have designated places. Then my dad now called, and my dad was like, "Shit, he doesn't have any other one." I said, "Hey, even you, you that parented me, girl, you didn't give me that chance." Now then I realized what Coach says: you parent the child you have. Even your parents that were strict and trained you, they are not equipped, they are not called to even parent your own children for you. There are some decisions you would have to make by yourselves, which probably because of old age or emotional attachments with the grandchildren and all that, I mean, I was shocked because that's one thing my father would never support growing up. Indulging a child, like if you have to do one thing 221 times, especially me, you keep doing it now until you get it right. So, and all those kind of things, all those little bailouts and all that. So I've been able to walk with this journey. That's why I mean, I've been in level 1 for 3 years, and I have not seen any reason to actually move, because even after 3 years, I'm not sure I've implemented 40%. I'm not sure I've implemented 40%. So it's just good to farabale and just stay. I will not even go ahead of their age. Everything I need for now is still in level 1. And there is no class in these 3 years. I keep on putting the records together. For instance, raising a child, you don't need to bail out in 2023, then 24, then 25. The REMA, the REMA as not one is a repetition. There is this what's the word? There is a way it keeps translating, it keeps getting deeper. If I was telling somebody that this year is like some coach is just teaching Bible, parenting Bible now. Like everything about this year was, if your spiritual antenna is not high, you might not be able to pick a lot of things coach has been teaching in this year 2025, because she is not on the level that we used to know her. There is a translation every year, so no class remains the same. So why do I have to worry? Then I will leave 2026. Then another level of raising a boy you don't need to bail out an outcome, and I will miss it. No, we are still here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Mary Odeleye. Mary is sharing live from Ibadan, Nigeria. And if you're just joining us, today is Nigerians Independent, and I have a message for you. Like I said earlier to someone, when we're talking about parenting and nations building, one thing that I love politics, I love leadership, right? And one thing that I say to every parent is, parenting is it's about nations building. The future of Nigeria doesn't sit in government houses. No, it doesn't sit in government houses alone. It's in the lives of the children that we're raising today. And on that note, happy Independence Day to every Nigerian. I am proudly Nigerian, and I love it. Yes, Mary is here sharing her journey, and Mary said to me that, see, the webinars are not, it can't be the same now. If you meet me where I am every year, then there's something wrong with me. Any day you meet me and I've not ascended, Biko, leave the place. Because you now have a coach who does not hear anymore. That's the way I say it. All right. It is the same thing. Then you have someone who is not in that space where they are actually picking the signals from where they should pick it. Because sometimes a lot of the things that we must understand that so nothing is static. Even parenting is not static. I started talking about distraction management about 8 years ago. And, I got the privilege to study distraction management and what it is that's going to do in years to come. I started teaching it. But the way I teach distraction management, it's not the same way I've taught it 8 years ago. The knowledge has evolved. There's a lot of insights in it. I started talking about autism 10 years ago, screen autism. And in that time, the studies about it was not a lot. I first heard it, and I started to research about it. There were just very few papers on it. In fact, when I started talking about it, people were like, it is a lie. What are you saying? It is not possible. Children must watch screen. It doesn't matter. One of those days, somebody sent me a video I made 8 years ago and said, truly, you've been talking about these things. I said, yeah. It's just that, there's an evolvement that happens with knowledge. Knowledge evolves. And that's why when I hear people say, I was in the academy this year, so next year, and I say I'll come back the following day, you will miss so much. That's the truth, because that's how it is. You can't meet me where I am each year. If you do, I have failed. That's the way I look at it. All right. And yet we have Mary in the building. Mary each sharing her journey. And Mary is a single parent of 2 children. Somebody reached out to me recently and said, Coach, I'm a single mom. Will the inner circle help me? I said, you are the one that need this place more. Please pack your bags. Remain here like your life depends on it, because it does. Many times we think that our problems do not have solutions. Or we think that, this person will not understand where I'm coming from. Inner circle is a buffet. You will pick what is for you. Mary said something. She said, I've not been able to do 40%. You will pick what is for you. I was saying in one of the voice notes to Inner Circle parents that I delivered a class. I went back to the class to listen to the class because I do. And no, I will not be robbed off of my own anointing. I know that there's an anointing. I can't even take that away. And then I was listening to that class and the Holy Spirit said, this part is for you. And I said, okay, where is my pen and my paper and my implementation book? Yes, I do have an implementation book. And I took it and I ran. That same thing, I did it that same day. There was no time to dally, to ask yourself questions, to say what happened and what didn't happen and what. There's no time. I don't argue with instructions. I'm a child of God. That's the way I work. If you want to actually know God, you need to learn how to listen to instructions. I said that yesterday. Because God does not offer opinions. He gives instructions. I've never seen where God said, do you think that you should know? It is Abraham, stand up, go now into the land I have called you. That's how he talks. Moses, go now into Egypt and go and bring. He didn't say, Moses, do you want to go to Egypt? Maybe if you like to go to Egypt, it will be nice. So you know that these Egyptians, you guys, the Israelites have really suffered. I'm really trying to call you. God doesn't speak like that. It's clear instruction given. If you're not ready to take instructions, then you might not actually be able to evolve in life. And sometimes those instructions can be tough. I know what I'm saying. Thank you again for joining me. You're listening to Mary Odeleye share on her journey on intentional parenting. And she's been walking back through it. Let's get into the real cocoa of the matter. Talk to me. How has the yard changed your life? Parenting, finances, sense-wise, like we say in the yard, relationship with people, and every other thing in your life. Anyway you want to take it is good. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Please permit me to digress a bit, and I need to really apologize for this. This is something I should have said fundamentally when we began. I just remembered when you talked about screen autism. Yes, I heard about screen autism first in the yard, and that was when I was able to put into perspective what actually happened to my son. Coach, my son was already speaking at about 7 months. In fact, he had started blabbing much earlier. But we were abroad at the time. And you know how it is. Just myself, the dad, and him. He works all night, I think. Yeah, he works all day. Then I work all day too, but at the time when I took in for the younger sister, because, well, that's what motherhood can do to you. For me personally, once I'm in that situation, my day automatically turns into night. So I sleep all day and I'm active all night. So once the dad goes to work in the morning, I try to just take care of him, give him food, and he used to soak. I even encouraged him to soak. Those are the problems that coach will say, do now. Either way, you will do. But the one you will now do later, it will do you. because a lot of times it's almost impossible to get it done. So I would put him on his eye chair, put him in front of his screen, and that was the time this boy was opening up. I think from like 8 months. So not from like 7 months. So I would say that all through the 9 months of the pregnancy, the time that my boy had an opportunity to relate with a human being, coach, I won't say it was up to 48 hours, because and that was the time he was supposed to be interacting, dada, mama, and all that. He was quiet right in front of Barney. Till today, at 11, my son still speaks like Barney. We have not finished.
Wow.
Even after I started this TIP journey, many years now, 2 years, 3 years, TV will not open in this house. Like I struck screen totally. He will still go all the way. In fact, in school, he will leave his class, go to the baby's class, and just stay by the window, peeping to watch television. The addiction is more than alcohol. The addiction is, we are still on it till today. We have not finished. So this boy didn't interact. I would wake in the night, he's sleeping. The father will come, he's sleeping. All through his active period, we are not there. So he just stayed mute and was interacting with Barney. And I am still paying dearly for it till today. I've not finished paying. And a lot of work has gone into it. A lot. And the flip side was, when the sister came, the sister was like, she was sent to him, because the sister would just be like, when he started speaking, mommy, I'll call him. When I call him, the sister would say, can't you hear mommy is calling you? The boy will answer slowly. He will say, shout, mommy cannot hear you. Just like a monitoring spirit. That one was just like a monitoring spirit to him. Although it was good, it helped him. I couldn't do all of that. They were always together. It helped him. But now, coach, that thing that was helping him and helping me is something else, a parenting gap that I am dealing with now. Because the girl now is like, no respect, no regard. Like she still wants to stay in that position, and also with the awareness that she's actually more aware and more up and doing than he is. So she still wants to be in that position. That is something I'm still dealing with. So there is a lot of knowledge that is needed in maneuvering all these processes. When you see something as a plus now, if you don't manage it well, it might turn out in few years to become a bigger problem you will have to handle if you don't deal with it well. Okay, so going back to Coach's question about how has the TIP helped me. Yes, so the first thing it did to me was to streamline and have a vision and a purpose. Because in all those things, and I had to also listen to the seasons of life very well to realize that was the season I was in. And I can be in a particular season and still be making waves in that season. I forgot to mention that while my son was in that journey, another thing that helped me a lot was learning resources, which was not popular at the time. I spent thousands, if not eventually in 7 digits, to equip this boy. And I had to do it alone, At some point, I will now be calling my friends, buy a puzzle so that we can share transportation bill. I became a sales officer for Madam Reddit in Ibadan. I started saying, oh yeah, now come and buy, just for us to share the bills. And for many years, I discovered that there was nothing of such in Ibadan. There was nothing of such, and people really needed this thing. What my boy can do, and coach, another striking thing is autism does not affect his academics in any way. It is just that the parenting style course helped me to narrow down and know him very well. A visitor was around us sometimes, and my boy was being taught mathematics, and they were telling him do can you come 7.5, and the boy was not sitting down, and the person was now like, "What's wrong with you? Are you not the one they are teaching? Can you come? Can you come?" And I was like, "Relax, hold on, you know." And by that time, the boy was doing his mathematics in the sky. It was like his eyes was following a bird in the sky. And by the time the boy was going to land, it was the answer he brought. Ah, the woman was like, "Oh, really?" So he was still paying attention. I said, "That is it. Just leave him. Just leave him. That is how he is." So his academics, he has been a front. The way God does these things, I don't know. It has never been a challenge. And the sister now that I was not expecting to, as in, I was not expecting to have any. I didn't even put much attention on her to put things in place. I was expecting a very smooth sail. All the academic issues I didn't have with the boy is what I'm having, or that I had with the girl. At some point, I had to split their schools. I saw one was a kinesthetic learner that needed to learn in activities. The other one was a born player. You know, coach, when you are sitting like this and you are playing, like you are sitting like this, facing you, but like you are playing 100%. That is my daughter. So I knew that the activity environment was not for her. It wasn't convenient. It was very sacrificial because I had to go poles apart to do school runs. And I've done that many years. My children, even now, we do school runs as far as distance you can imagine. And my children have never gone late to school except for maybe 6 days and all that. There is no day my child will not get to school before 7:30. It will not happen. So we are able to put all that in place, and it's been a lot. I won't say it's been easy. I've actually had to put a part of my life on hold also. Yes, I had at a point I had to put a part of my life on hold, considering it would have been much easier to share if we were two. But considering that I have to do, like I tell my team, I'm the electrician, I'm the driver, I'm the coach used to talk about baby girl life, and I love it. I love it every day, But at this time, that is what is on my plate, and I had to learn to put the important things. Coach, I have issues with people a lot these days now. They say, we call her, she doesn't pick calls. At some point, I realized that call thing was making me get insane. So in my mind, I relegated it to a point that people think, why would she pick call? They'll be like, in an emergency, they cannot even call you. I say, thank God, I'm not the only child. I'm not your only friend. In this season, please, you can still make do with other people. Some things are at stake. At this time, I need to put my priorities right at this time, and I need to do what I can do and not lose my sanity. I can't do everything and not lose my sanity. So I've been able to draw the line, and thank God for supporting people around me. Sometimes they tend to understand, sometimes they just, they just don't have a choice. They just have to manage me like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's a season. Another season will come. But for now, please just take it like that. So that's another thing. Then I've learned to say no without a feel of before now, everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. I'm a caterer. The only time in the last 10 years, the only time you would have seen me in an event without being the caterer there has not been up to 10 times, including family events. Because when I'm not working, Saturdays are for me and my children to connect, and like coach will say, you're in a season of life where your children are just growing up, and you're in church from morning to night, or and be, or at a point gone, coach does not usually say it again. She will say, you see that wig, you see that you see that wig, go and sell it. Some of you are wearing what your children should use for for learning resources on your head? Why will a head that cannot produce 200,000 be wearing 1 million wig? Ha. There are some things you will hear. You will go and sleep. You will think, then you will come back. You know, say it's true. It's true. That was when I went on dreads. I went on dreads at the time. I was like, okay, everything it will take, we will just have to give it. And it relieved me. I didn't have to do salon over and over again. Yeah, there were complaints. Can you come? It's a season. Just leave it like that. You know. So and along the line, the learning resources thing, it became a burden on my heart that why will people be in Ibadan? There are many. There are many lives of my children, of my son in Ibadan that actually needs this thing. So last year, March, I was able to, start up a learning resource store in Ibadan with the help of Madam Tolu. And yes, till today, I am the only person that does that business in Ibadan, and with also a very big bookstore. So that has added to me. And I have always been a person of books. The first thing I implemented when I got to TIP was a bookshelf. I got it straight. That was the first thing I did. And I started buying books. I mean, the least book I would buy at once is 5. At once. That was a win. But along the line, you have 50 books, you have not read 5. That was a negative. So along the line, with the reading structure in the inner circle, I begin to utilize that to start reading. There are months I do 2 books, there are months I do 3 books, there are months I fall along the way. Even my journal, I put myself to accountability a lot through even this year I started. I tried more than other years, but sometimes along the line again, I dropped off again, but I know that I did better then. I would also try some circumstances, although excuses are not anything I want to deal with. Nothing still justifies it's a taboo in our yard to give excuses. But, I can just say that I'm getting better. And as with the girl with sense, I'm a girl with sense. When I see a girl without sense, I have 0 tolerance, and I don't want the person to remain the same, because it's something it's something that is difficult to deal with when your decision puts you in trouble. If some other people put you in trouble, it's still, you can still deal with it. But when your decisions put you in a place, put you in a cage, it's more painful. It comes from the place of pain. So I don't like to see it at all. So I also have girls I mentor and all that. And when you tell them, come to I met somebody recently, she wants to get married, and I asked, how many books have you read? Books. Read. I said, okay, you're just like me, Abby. You want to marry. You did not read book. Who is your counselor? Who is your counselor? Counselor. I said, I have counselor. Come and do professional counseling. So I'm going to say, hey, what is your marriage budget? Okay, you have marriage budget. Your all money can pay for counselor. You want to do party, Abby? I was just like, well, I told the person the little I can tell. But I just see that people, they're just so far away. They don't just get it. They don't just get it. So and I have a lot of them around me. So along the line, it became a burden to me again. And I started thinking, okay, if they don't want to come to Inner Circle, if they don't want to do this yet, okay, let us just start reading. I have a bookstore. And the Holy Spirit told me, start a reading club. At least let them come and read first. Just build. It's also be a platform for me also to keep myself accountable and build consistent. So, Coach, tonight, 1st of October, I'll be launching a book club tonight, where I was amazed the day I put the link and people were just coming in. And I was like, really? Oh, okay. I didn't send myself anyway. So, just come and read. Let's read. From there, they could hear from me. It's a platform to hear from me. And you say, okay, this is what you should do. this is what you should do, and So those are the things that I've also grown. Coach, there's nothing you can do to me. I don't have energy to get angry. Like disabled, bitterness, disabled. I mean, there's no time. There's no time for all those things. There's literally no time for all those things. And out of all the things I want to model to my children, then bitterness, anger, and all that. And it's on my own path. It's a very, very sensitive aspect, because managing myself not to begin to transfer the bitterness or the past experiences. Now the children are grown, they want to hear the stories, how to manage it such that it will not affect their own psyche in their personal development. That's a lot I have to deal with. That's a lot. And I should not lie too. I should not lie. So the inner circle has also, coach has never come to say, okay, how to talk to your children about your failed marriage. No, she won't say that. But if you are in the yard, wisdom will come to you. Somehow you will hear it. Somehow. That's why coach says, if you are not in the yard and you have problem and you come kitikata, you will pay. And the 2 hours you will pay is nothing compared to being in the yard without money for maybe 3 or 4 years and just putting things in place. You will hear something. You will just keep hearing. You will talk in the midst of people. They will know something has shifted. Yes, sir. Thank you, coach.
Amazing. When Mary started talking about how to actually translate the message of her failed marriage to her children, I was like, come on now. That's it. You don't hear. See, there are things some things are taught, some things are caught. When you are in the yard, you will catch some things. As you're going, you just catch something. As in, nobody needs to tell you that if you are going to badmouth your ex, it's going to have a negative effect on your children. Nobody needs to tell you that. But while you are in the yard, you will pick it and you will get it. And when you get it, you will just, your sense will be sensing. And that's what we talk about, right? And that's actually the main thing about having sense. Thank you again for joining me. We have Mary Odeleye, who is streaming all the way from Ibadan. Mary has been parenting alone for a while, and she said her journey is interesting. One of the things I've heard Mary say today is how her son, who was autistic, all right, just because of the errors that was made at the beginning and which she's been able to pick up with and run. One thing that I love that Mary said is that I'm parenting the child that I have, right? Even though my son is 11, there are things it's okay. That's the one I have. Like we say in the yard, parent the child you have, not the one you wish to have, not the one you hope to have, not the one you pray to have, not even the one that you are agitated to have, just the one you have, the one that is there at the moment. Thank you again, Mary. Mary, let's talk about the webinar. Tell me how the webinars have transformed you. Which of the webinars, your top 3, will be the best webinars that you have come in contact with that has transformed you?
Okay, ma'am. The top 3 webinars for me will be, number 1 is raising a boy you do not need to bail out. And it stood out because I have been a victim. I have seen it play out. Initially, I was running with it with trauma. I had to discover that, heal, then have a clear mind to run with it. But it doesn't take away the fact that I know very vividly how the things play out. A boy you bail out now, you will bail him out forever. Playing out too vividly in my presence. So I do not take that webinar for granted at all. Then raising a girl with sense. And before my daughter, me, that webinar was just for me. And everything about it, our coach said so much. Coach said too much about. If I begin to say, if I begin to say things that ah, girls could be sent. You're a virgin and you are sensitive. You can't make decisions. You can't stand alone. You sacrifice the virginity for what now? For vision. Purpose is not there. There's so much she said. And I would also link that to the wife in training manual, because it's like me now, I'm just taking counseling. In me, if I'm the one that is being trained, everything looks like I've not heard it before. Everything looks like, so what do we? I just wonder, okay, all the counseling we now do in the church, all this, you can just come 2 days or one day before the wedding. They just tell us everything, and that's it. You will be on your own. Coach tells us wisdom over intelligence, focusing on real matters. Preparing your daughter for the period of delays. Can your children wait? Can they manage? Waiting is a process. Waiting is a skill.
Yeah.
That one eats me. Waiting is a skill. Then the third one is understanding the seasons of life, and I would integrate it with healing from childhood trauma. Understanding the seasons of life was by Coach Omolola, and she just broke the table's legs. Like, what is your why? What is your why? When they remove all your doctor and everything, what is left? What is left? What is your purpose? The process you have gone through, how can it impact your world? If you have gone through it and it cannot impact, then you have just passed time. You have just passed time. And you cannot, she said, you cannot put, a lot of us want to put new wine in an old skin, which is not possible. You have to heal. Very fundamental. You cannot move on if you don't heal. You have to intentionally go through the process of healing. And all of these things, you'll find in the inner circle, because it's a step. That's why Coach will say, no, if you come in when we have started, you'll be more confused. In fact, you could have a mental issue. So it's not just safe for you, because you'll not be able to deal with it. So you just need to heal, and it's a lot. So those are the top. And Coach, there are other webinars that outsiders participate with us. I like to acknowledge the back to school, the Sex Educate Like a Pro. The Sex Educate Like a Pro is nothing like one has ever heard before. Yeah, okay, your private parts. What is private part? Which one is public? So so I need to acknowledge back to school. I need to acknowledge Sex Educate Like a Pro. I need to acknowledge the learning style course. Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. And yes, we have Mary Odeleye, and Mary is sharing on my intentional parenting journey. She said that our top 3 webinars is raising the boy you don't need to bail out, and raising the girl with sense. Those 2 webinars are actually books currently. Let me see fine. Yes. So raising the boy you don't need to bail out, and raising the girl with sense. So when I wrote these 2 books, somebody said this topic, this title, how did it come about? And that's why I say that some things are taught, some things are caught. And I wrote this book for 3 years, raising the boy you don't need to bail out. I wrote it for 3 years, and I was teaching it in webinars as the revelations was coming. By the time I was done writing this book, I knew that my generation will be blessed by it. And one thing that our parents didn't get right was having to review what they are doing. So most of the times you find out that there is no review. There is they didn't really pay attention to a lot of things. All right. You know, it made us have a lot of gaps. Was it intentional on their end? No, it was not. But the truth of the matter is, it is what it is. And these are the gaps that needed to actually be filled. So these webinars actually, so the webinars are kind of, just reading the book doesn't give you the perspective the webinars give you also. So you actually need it too. Maybe that's how to put it. You know, somebody was asking me about the inner circle and saying, what happening, you know, classes and all of that. The classes in the inner circle, they are not available for people outside. All right. They are not available for people outside. So it's only people who are um in the yard that get to experience, you know, this Yadaric webinar. All right. So she talked about she talked about raising the boy you don't need to bail out. She talked about raising the raising the girl with sense. They were all webinars, and then wife in training manual. Yep, that's actually a webinar. And you know, the things you learn in the yard, the things you learn in the yard is, I don't know how to explain it. Most times we're trying to explain it to people. We're trying to say, oh, you know, this thing, you need to do it like this. You need to, it's the explanation is too hard. So all you need is transformation. So if you can explain transformation, you are not explaining anything. Right? So you can't really explain transformation. So Mary has shared her top 3 webinars and how they've transformed her. I want Mary to share with us about the books. What will be your top 3 books?
Connect to Correct, Raising the Girl with Sense, and Raising the Boy You Don't Need to Bail Out. Top of it, this one is the overall, because this was where I met myself. You know, this laid the foundation. This book is very dear to me. I've read it to the point that it needs a replacement. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so that's one thing that you would need to actually pay attention to. We read. All the day, am I going to register and I'll still buy books? Ma, sir, you will buy books. You are not buying it from me, you will buy. The books you will read, you will buy it. Sell your wigs and buy wings.
Yeah, wings.
So that you can go and get, we was Coach Ebuka that actually anchored that quote. Sell your wigs and buy wings for your children. You know, like Coach Ebuka said to Madam Odeleye, this is actually your result, man. It is your report card don't show. It's not us. I'm not your problem. This is your report card. Go back and fix it. If your child is having any issue, it is your report card. So all this I cannot. Hey, am I going to read book? Hey, am I going to? And we used to pursue people that don't read book too. We will take you out unapologetically. You can't do me anything. That's how accountable you must become. It's even going to be interesting now because we have an app. We all block you. You won't have access. Maybe you want to not read. You must read. Oh, coach, I don't have time to read. This time around, can you eat? If you can eat, you can read. Because there's a level of your transformation that is not accessible without reading. And I know it. So no, I will not coach people who don't read. If I need to force you to read, then so be it. That's what you're paying me for. You shall be reading and you will buy the resources. So all the make budget to buy books. I remember when somebody came to my house a very long time ago, there were heaps of story books in the house. I'm not talking about school books, story books. You know, there were different story books, different. Person was like, how do you, well, I don't understand. Why are you buying this number of books? You know, today, someone was, you know, talking to me and said, your daughter is the best English student in her school. And I was like, these things are curated, though. It's not English that is taught in school. No. It is that she understands how to string sentences. She learned it reading. Your children will need to read. If they don't read, they can't succeed. You know, one of my books, in the books I'm launching on the 6th, yes, you are going to be having the books, the 6-in-1 book flash sale. One of the books said raising lifelong learners. Many times we actually think that is about our children passing exams. All right. This book is literally going to change your life. I can assure you. Because I've come to realize that we think that is about, most of us have gone to school. We actually go to school, come out, pass exams, but we don't really, we can't really read. We can't continue to read. So I was sitting with one of my team members yesterday, and I said, what have you read recently? I said, nothing. I was like, what? Like, are you joking? And I said, every week you have one book to read. Because we didn't learn, we were not taught. We were not taught to read for our lives. We were not taught sense care. You need sense care to actually go. You will read. Because your life, if you want to lead differently, you have to read differently. So you're going to read. So if you have not joined the 6-in-1 book flash sale, better join, right? It's just 39,500, right? Instead of 60,000. If you don't pay 39,500, it's okay too. The books are worth it. You can pay 10K per book. It's still okay, right? But many times the problem that we have, right? If you're asking me, the books are all as big as this. If you look at the people who sell books, you wouldn't even get it at that price. There's something about, reading that I have found. Most of the times, you don't even know what happens to you as you are reading. It is when you now get to a place where you need to, the Bible says, out of the belly. You just start to speak and you're wondering, how did I get here? You have been putting things, you can't speak from an empty place. One of the reasons a lot of our children don't believe the things we say is that we lack wisdom. Believe it or not. So you're saying something, your child who is, out there learning every day is wondering, what is wrong with my mother? What is wrong with my father? They don't really know anything. So if you have teenagers, they don't come to you to actually bounce things on you. You don't do. And that's why they're not coming to you. Believe you me. That is why they're not coming to you. So you need to read. There's nothing you can do about reading. There's nothing. Because there's a part of your life that never gets unlocked if you do not read. It was Pastor Kelechi Chibuzo who shared on my intentional parenting journey. He was also live over the weekend at TRP Summit Uyo, where he shared on my intentional parenting journey. And he said that he said, I've been a pastor for years. Even scriptures. I learned a lot of scriptures from the yard. When I preach now, my preaching is more tangible. People get stunned listening to me because I have grown myself. I've grown myself from inside out. And he said, even my son that I thought didn't come to me for anything, I thought we didn't have a good relationship. That boy is 25 now. Everything he does, he said one of the days he screenshot the son's WhatsApp status and sent to me. Guess what was on it? My father is the wisest man I have known. Anything I am looking for, he has answers. I said, come on now. Pastor said to me, Coach, you don't understand. Look at me now, 3 years in the inner circle. I have become the wisest man on earth. Come on now. So you can actually have been on your journey. And if you don't begin to find things in the covers of books, you don't succeed. You just leave. You just leave. And when it comes to parenting, you want to have an edge. If you're going to instruct your children, then there's something you will know to use for instruction. The Bible says that I know that Abraham will instruct his children. There's something about instruction and learning. And it's because Abraham walked with God. That's why he could instruct. There is no instructor who instructs without depth. The problem that you're having in your parenting is that you're instructing without depth. And every time you instruct without depth, you lose out. Every time. You lose credibility. Every time you instruct without depth, you lose credibility. Even as a coach, even as a teacher, you lose credibility. But every time you instruct with depth, you will hold anybody spellbound, even if it's your child. My daughter said to me, I am grateful you are my mother. I'm like, come on now. That's what we're talking about. If your children are not grateful that you have so much impact, my daughter said, you just have a way of making me do everything. I said, that's why I'm Wendy Ologe, your mother. You just have a way of making it look so seamless. It's wisdom. It's wisdom. It's not just talking. People say to me, oh, I've been talking to my children. They are not listening. You are talking. You're not speaking wisdom. They're two different things. People say, oh, talking is not, I've been talking. You don't want me to beat the child. I've been talking. So if I talk, they don't listen until I shout and I beat them. You are not making sense. Sorry, but that's the truth. Talking is not a disciplinary strategy. There's more to it. So you can be talking, and yes, you've been talking but what are you talking? The problem is not coming into parenting. It's coming with content and sense. What level of content do you have? What level of wisdom will you speak? Your children know when you speak wisdom. They know when you speak foolishness also. That's the truth. That's the truth. So you need depth. So if you don't read, then you can't have depth. That's the truth. When I talk with you in split seconds, I know how much depth you have. And I know that you don't read. I know that you don't spend time with you as a person. Because if you do, your life will take a turn. There's a level of turn your life will take when you read that you can't explain. So this, must I read? Do I have to read? You will have to read, provided you are coming into the inner circle. It is not whether you have to. Like I said, the app makes it even more interesting. So you will carry your sin by yourself this time around. It's no longer your group lead or your team members all getting punished because of you. You decide that you're not going to read. We just block you. There's a space. I told them to put a button for me on the app. So I just go to the back and I just say, Pim, block you for a while. And you will go through the process. I love it. I love technology. It makes your life easy. You can see how excited that I am already. And don't tell me you don't have time. It's not true. It's not true. And don't tell me you don't have money to buy books. It's not true. It is not true. You do. It's just your priority. It's just your priority. Just your priority. You can decide. You can make choices. The other day, they were telling me something about hair. And they say, oh, for you to sit and make hair, so you are going to pay 60-something thousand. I say, me like this for hair. What happened to book? I will spend 60-something thousand to make hair. I'm not understanding. That what happened? Am I going to heaven with it? It's priority. You make nails, it's 20,000 naira. I say, wow. You guys are really trying. Like, really? There are some, it's just priority. There's some amount that I don't spend on things of the world. Do I like them? Yes. You can see me, I have nails on my hand. But I have a cap. What is that? I spend money for 6 books on top of hair. Sometimes the head is not even making 1 million. You are spending 100,000 on the hair. Something must be wrong. Let's go there. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining me. In conclusion, please share with us. What will be that thing that you're living with somebody who is listening to you, a single parent, somebody who is wondering, must I be here? Must I learn? And all of that. Over to you, Ma.
Thank you, Coach. Yes, as a single parent, I would say the inner circle is the perfect partner you need. It's a complete package. It's like Coach calls it now. It's a university with faculties. You as a parent, you'll be accountable. You'll be guided. We have the boys academy that takes care. My boy has been under mentoring for the only go-to father he knows is Coach Ebuka, aside from family. I mean, that is the person who's even comfortable to tell one or two things. So mentoring is very important for everybody, but more importantly for us, because your son needs a father figure. Sometimes last month or 2 months ago, I observed that puberty was setting in, and I approached my son, and I was going to ask a question, but my mind was just like, I should ask him, "Are you comfortable about talking about this thing?" And it was like, no. I was like, really? I said, okay. He says, I will talk about it to Coach Ebuka. I was like, oh, okay. We'll find time. So there must be a father figure in your life. You need to find it from wherever. You just have to find it from wherever. And I would say, okay, we have the girls coach too. We have all manner of resources that my boy has every of Coach Ebuka's books almost read. My daughter has almost all Auntie Tima's books, Coach Mary Beth's book, all available resources that is in their age appropriacy. So all of that, you don't need to be here and be looking for it there. Everything is right in this circle. Everything you need as a partner to be able to successfully go through this journey. Because as a single mother, in fact, you must succeed. Don't try not to succeed. You must. You must succeed. Don't try not to. So you need to put everything you have to put at the right time when it counts. And it is now. Wherever you have found yourself now, just come in and come and just get started from wherever you are. There's always room. There's always grace to start and also catch up.
There is
Thank
always
you.
room, there is always grace to start. There are people who are watching and wondering, but this money, how do I pay? How do I pay the Lord? Will I just carry money and just go and give this woman? Please speak to them as we round up.
You're not giving coach money because from the induction, your money has finished. On Toto, I don't know if coach understands that. True. From
Yes.
induction, your money has already finished. Because when we also do professional courses online, we pay for courses aside parenting. We know what we pay to get certifications that don't even count. Like Coach Amolola says, the things we want to kill our children for, learn maths, learn English, that in the long run, in the future, may not even count, may not go in the line of the vision or purpose we are pursuing in the long run. And you'd have traumatized yourself, traumatized the children on it. So, you just have to find a way. You just have to find a way and get it. For the payment, you shall have. Because last month, I spoke to a sister friend. We were co-parents in my children's school, although she relocated her children. And we were just talking. And she was like, she likes these things. She's also my customer. And I was like, join the inner circle. She was like, that money, I won't be able to afford it now. I said, okay, it's about the value system. Value, what you value. I know you can afford it. Coach, she entered before me. She paid for all her books at once. I was one that ordered her book from Madame Ronke in Lagos. She's reading already. She's following the parenting journey, and she's like, she can't wait. I'm like, I'm loving your spirit. The way you are going, safe. She's inside. She paid sharp. Like, I think she worked on her value. That didn't eat her. She had to redirect. So it's about your value system. Some things may have to wait at that time. Everything can wait. I tell you, everything is worth waiting for you to be here.
Awesome. I think I love it. That's a good place to actually cap it. Everything is worth waiting for this journey. And I agree with Mary. If you need to borrow and get into the inner circle.
And you'll never borrow again.
Last time you ever need to borrow again. If you implement. I say it all the time. And I'm not scared to prove it to you. If you borrow and follow the inner circle program, that will be the last time you ever have to borrow in your life. Ever. Borrowing will be the end. I was still with Tani, Mo Snacks the other day, and she said, Coach, when you said that thing at the beginning, many years ago to me, I thought it was a joke. Today, I do millions, and I'm looking at myself, that girl who was looking for 50,000 naira to enter in a circle. But look at me now. Come on now. Command millions. And I'm here, paying for people. It is your destiny we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Thank you so much, Madam Mary Odeleye. This has been an amazing, amazing time. And
Thank you,
thank you for
Coach.
sharing your journey with me. I'm going to let you go so that you can enjoy the rest of the Independence Day with your family today. And while
Thank
I
you,
also,
Coach. I
yeah,
honor you. I honor you a lot. Thank you for all you do. God bless you, Coach.
God bless you. Thank you for your time. I love you. I honor you too. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time. If you have listened to me, you were live with Mary Odeleye. And like Mary said, everything should wait for you to do this journey. The inner circle discount, this discount you're seeing on my screen actually ended yesterday. So when I woke up this morning, I saw chats. Somebody was saying, Coach, I didn't even know. I thought, please, it was the end of October. Oh, please allow us to still make use of this discount. It's all right. But please, don't drag us when we actually close this cap. So you have some few days to actually still take advantage of this discount on my screen. Please go ahead and take advantage now. Instead of you paying 120,000, instead of you paying 150,000, you're paying 120,000. No matter what it is that you pay, believe you me, it is you can't pay for inner circle. You can I say it with all sense of responsibility. You can't. You can't. The other day my husband was sharing in a class, and she said, I do not think that any of you know what my wife puts into the Intentional Parent Academy. I am the only one who can tell you in real terms what goes into this work. And I think it's correct. Nobody can see it. None of you can. And the truth of the matter is that it's going to even get even more better. If you think you've seen resources, that's a joke to what you have seen. And of course, I always encourage that couples should come together, join with your spouses. It makes a whole world of difference. If you're a single mom, like Mary have advised you, your child needs a father figure. Whether you like it or not, it is very important because it will hit them. See, there are some things that is not sentiment. It's not, oh, you're not considering, you are going to hear the truth, and it's only the truth that can set you free. And part of it is that as a single mother, you need to have a father. Every child needs to be fathered. I tell you a story. And I read it in the Bible. Every time I've always wondered, where was the father of Moses? They were Levites. And the story went, the mother went to the palace, took care of Moses. Miriam was there, blah, 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 blah. That's how we know the story. And one of the days, the Holy Spirit opened my eyes to see that the price of fathering, Moses paid for it. Moses was not fathered properly. So he lived in the palace. He was a child of Pharaoh's daughter. So apparently Pharaoh didn't have the time to father him, in quote. Yes, he learned a lot from that space. But the interesting thing? Moses paid the price of lack of fatherhood. Moses paid the price with 40 years. God had to send him to Jethro. It was until he went to Jethro. By the time that he had that call, he knew that, oh, I'm not an Egyptian. Oh, I need to do something and all of that. And then immediately Moses, went and said, you killed my brother. Boom, killed somebody. I'm sure God said, this gap of fatherhood is going to deal with us. And God called out Moses and brought Jethro in his life. 40 whole years to be fathered. It takes a minimum of 40 years to be fathered. That's the lesson. If there is no father, you will need a minimum of 40 years by whoever to father you and for you to make any sense out of your calling. Until Moses was fathered, there was no sense in his calling. It was after his fatherhood process that his calling became tangible. I don't know who that revelation is for, but I'm sure that he will take it. But you know, there are things you don't learn if you're not in the right circle. And that's what the inner circle is about. That's what the inner circle is about. Please do not miss being in this system that's going to change your world, literally. Believe you me, it's not about, oh, I just want to come, oh, my parenting, oh, my parents, oh, this one, hey, my children. Come for you. Get into the inner circle. We're currently in cohort 1M as we speak. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. That is 13 classes. I don't think that thousands of people are stupid. You and I know that that's not possible. The inner circle will change the way you think about life generally. It will change the way you read your scriptures. Even your Quran, whatever religion you belong to, the inner circle will give you perspective you've never seen. Never seen. And that's because there is a God and there is a calling. It's not me. When you get into the inner circle, it's a different person. Somebody said to me, you're a different person in Masterpiece. You're a different person in inner circle. You're a different person in Couples Conclave. You're a different person in Mastermind, actually. And that is the truth. Because I understand the place of what it is that God has called me for. If you have listened to this journey till this point, please note that you need to be in this system. Don't miss out. And if you're already there, please allow yourself to go through the process. Because what you don't do today, you will do tomorrow. Moses spent 40 years in the palace of Pharaoh, not being fathered. He had to spend another 40 years to be fathered. If you don't do the time now, you will do it later. Either way, you do the time. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an honor to be here. And remember that our 6-in-1 book, flash sale is happening right on the 6th of October. On that day only, 2 hours only, 12 noon to 2 p.m., you get to pay $39,500 for the books, 6 of them. Or you get to pay $60,000, which is the original price the next day. So we're not doing pre-order, you now pre-order, you will pay the full amount the very next 2 hours. So get set. Set your alarm. All of the details will be shared with you in that book flash sale page. Join now so that you can be part of it. All right, we already have about 3 groups all filled up. People are waiting for these books. Trust me when I say so. Be part of the revolution that God is actually doing. I've currently have written, this will be 27 books under my belt. My aim is to change the world of parenting through reading, through transformational classes, and through the Intentional Parents Academy. It is very important that we note that our life, there is more to it than just living and going to work every day. And some of the things you find, like the person who shared yesterday, Sarah, said, I found my purpose in the inner circle. That's when I knew what I was created for. This is your chance to find your purpose. Remember that we're going to be in the UK. Yes, 25th of October. And we're going to be in Ilorin also on the 11th of October. So if you are in any of these cities, come and meet me. Let us take some hug. They say that I actually give the best hugs ever. And I agree. Trust me. I really do agree. All right. I can't wait to see every single one of you. And on this physical event, Uyo was palpable. Uyo was awesome. You don't want to miss it. All right. To be at this physical event, just look at the details, send a chat, and you will be there with all of the details. The venue for UK is RCCG CRA Birmingham Covenant Restoration Assembly. That's where we are actually doing it. Birmingham, United Kingdom. All right. Yes, that's what we're doing, that summit. And then for Ilorin, we're going to be having it at the Christ House of Freedom Ministries, Freedom Arena, opposite Mount Olives, church. That's the venue of that space. We're going to see you again by tomorrow at 8 a.m. Do not be told. Tell someone to tell someone that there is a place to learn parenting that will change your life. My name is Wendy Ologe. I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. I am the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. The Inner Circle parents love to call me VC. Are you ready to be VC'd by me? The VC that VC their VC, if you know what I mean. See you in the yard, and thank you.
Common phrases in the inner circle. Let's go.
You're coming for an inner circle webinar and you're not with your yellow blanket with red trimmings. Is that even a joke?
Oh, I'm running and I'm not looking back because 10,000 lions are chasing me. I have watched all the webinars, but today, Coach came with a bazooka.
Even with my humility agbada, I still collected.
If you're not in the ark, you better enter now because flood na bia o.
In the inner circle, we dey walk and they show.
CIP police is coming for you. There is no need harness here.
You definitely cannot relate because you are not in the yard.
If you are not in the yard,
why not?